G'day guys, back again. We're just going to see if this is going to be an easy one or a difficult one. 2010 Q7 Audi with a 3-litre turbo diesel engine in it, and it's got a flashing glow plug light. So let's get the Thinktool Max on it and let's have a look at what we got. Alright, let's go, let's see what we got. Got the new Thinktool Max, little A2534 box down there. I can sell these directly to you if you're in Australia now. If you're interested in Think Car Tools and you want to get one, I've got the whole range online, so I'll put the link in the description, and if you want anything, just shoot me through a message on Facebook or my business page. So let's go. Diagnosis. I'm not going to go for the smart scan. We're in a bit of a rush today, so I'm just going to go straight into the ECM because we know there's going to be a code in there if we've got a glow plug light flashing. This thing's bloody fast. Exhaust pressure sensor, A, high, range performance. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that this exact model does not have a separate exhaust pressure sensor. It's probably referring to the DPF pressure sensor. So what we're going to do, let's get out of this, let's go to live data and let's have a look at our reach on the bowl list. Let's have a look at DPF pressure. What do we got? Particulate filter pressure. Let's go. Okay, well, key on, engine off, it's reading 43 millibar already. That doesn't sound right. So let's just start this up. No change at all. Interesting. I'll give it a rev, let's see what happens. It's going negative. Something is definitely not right here. Now, before we rush in, I just want to be 1000% sure that this is not a scan tool reading error. Let me just connect another scan tool. I've got one right here, so I'll just connect it up and just make sure 1000% it's reading exactly the same, so we're not chasing our tail. Because sometimes, you know, some of the scan tools can read something incorrectly. We've had it before. Toyota map sensors read incorrectly, so let's just get our scan tool on it quickly and make sure 100%. I'll get you up. Alright, we got the Autel MS906 Pro, same thing, look at that. So about 50 millibar. I'll rev it, it goes negative, so we've got something funky going on with the hoses on this sensor, or we've got a faulty sensor. So let's go under the bonnet and have a good look. Down there, just disconnected that DPF pressure sensor to see what we're getting. As you can see, it just spiked and now it's on 97 millibar. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check if we've got power and ground at that sensor, just to make sure we've got a good power and ground, and then we're going to take that sensor off, take the hoses off, get a manometer on it, and then just see what we're actually really getting. Okay, so I'm very gently front probed on the 2 pins, power and ground pins. So if we've got a good ground and we've got a good power, we should see 5 volts on the scope. Got the thin car scope set up and we're on the screen. As you can see, let me just bring that cursor down so we can see. And you can see there our Y1 is 5-ish volts. So we've definitely got a good power and ground there. So let's see what's going on with this sensor. Maybe let's pull this sensor off and have a look at these hoses and get a manometer on it, and let's see. Well, I got it off. Very difficult to get it off. Get my hand down the back there. That 10mm took forever to actually get off, and you can't get in there very great. As you can see, we got one to atmospheric and one to the front of the DPF, and that one was broken. I didn't feel it break or see it break as I was pulling it off. So it just came away as I pulled this forward, so that must have been broken before, and that is probably the issue. For the whole period anyway, that was probably the issue. So what I'm quickly going to do is actually just plug this back in, which would basically replicate how it was before. If it was leaking because it was broken already, I'll see if it's doing the same thing. 50 millibar at idle, and then going negative as we rev it. So let's test that out. Okay, so we're just connected up there. It's just sitting there, basically open to the air, exactly how I showed you, like it was holding in my hand before. I just tried it already, as you can see, idling at 50 millibar, and watch when I rev it, doing exactly the same thing as it was before. So clearly I'm thinking that was broken already, and that was the problem all along. So let's get a new DPF pressure sensor in there. It's going to be an absolute pain to get that old piece out of the hose and then try and get the new one on there, so bear with me. Could be another day. Unfortunately today's a Sunday, I'm catching up on work, so shouldn't be working today anyway, but let's get a new sensor in and get fitted and then see how it goes. Righto guys, that's the new sensor on. It's a superseded part number. Let me tell you, that was a bit of a nightmare to replace, a bit of a nightmare to get in there. Scratched up my arms and hands and whatever else, but anyway, it's done. I put a little bit of rubber grease just on the outside of the pipes just to get them on nicely, because the last thing you want to do is bend the new plastic crappy sensor. Yeah, that was good. It was very difficult to get the old hose off, trying to get in there, not really much access, but whatever, it's done. So obviously when you replace one of these, you've got to do an adaptation to tell the computer that it's new, see where it's at, and then let's run it up and then test it out and see what our DPF is doing, if we're blocked or if we're not, and then we'll go from there. So I'll get the Thinktool back on it and let's see if we can do the adaptation and everything with it. Alright, so we're back on the scan tool. Let's go to adaptation by list. Differential pressure sensor, zero compensation. Okay. Input 001. Save. Adaptation success. Great. Let's get out of this. Let's go to data stream now. My list again. Let's search. Pressure. That looks a little bit better. 0. Let's start it up. Well, let's actually graph that. Well, you can see we jumped up to 5 millibar. So in between 0 and 5 is probably negligible, somewhere around that mark, but that seems like we're good. Seems like the DPF is not really blocked, but let's give it a rev. Let's hold it around 2.5 and see where we're at. Hopefully you can see that. Got up to around 40 something, under 50 millibar. So it doesn't look like this DPF is blocked. Just going to go for a drive. We've got no lights on the dash, so it's looking good at the moment. I'm going to go for a drive and then see how we go. That's it guys, back from the road test. All good. All the data PIDs look good. No engine light on the dash. Give this back to the customer and see how it goes. Thanks for watching. See you next time.